I've been helping women quiet the busy mind and the anxious thoughts for the past 5 years. But if I could go back and talk to my anxious, struggling self, the woman who dreaded going to sleep because of panic attacks, this is exactly what I would tell her. So today I'm sharing more than 30 practical tips that I've learned through my own experience and through supporting other women with anxiety. I wish someone had just given me this list when I felt so anxious, overwhelmed, and constantly on edge. So today, this is exactly what I'm doing for you. Have you ever found yourself trying to go to bed, but your brain doesn't shut up? I used to think that if I just replayed the conversation over and over and get some closure about it, I could finally go to sleep. But that actually what kept me awake. So whenever your mind brings all the conversation you had during the day or all the to-do list for tomorrow, grab a book and write those thoughts on paper. This way you're telling your brain, it's been sorted, you don't need to remind me anymore. The reason your brain might keep chattering, it might got to do with you checking emails or messages very late at night. So for me, I choose to have a cut-off time by 9 p.m. Otherwise, I keep thinking about what I need to solve, what I need to reply, and that just keeps me awake. So decide on a time when you can just turn everything off and allow your brain to properly switch off before you go to bed. Speaking about busy thoughts, it's so important to get used to giving yourself a break, to let the brain do nothing, especially after work. And I'm not talking about being on social media, a real break, to process, to unload what just happened during the day. That quiet time might feel a bit weird at first, and that's completely okay. You can start by giving yourself a few minutes and build from there. And if it feels challenging, I created a meditation that will help your brain rest, remove the anxious thoughts, and feel relaxed in your body. You can download it from the link below. Another helpful way to interact with those ongoing thoughts is to set a time for you to deal with them. So maybe say at 4 p.m. I'll take care of it or think about it for 10 or 15 minutes. This way you give your anxiety a container and it doesn't have any control throughout the day because you set a time when you're going to take care of that. Many women believe that when they feel so anxious, it means there's something wrong with them. But this is completely not true. You see, anxiety is just a symptom. And underneath that symptom, we might find emotions that we were never allowed to express. Maybe beliefs about ourselves. Maybe there are past events or traumas that we've been carrying with us. All of these events can cause us to feel unsafe in our body. And all can be underneath that anxiety symptom. So instead of asking, what is wrong with me? Try and ask, what is my body trying to protect me from? This is the deeper work I do with my private clients to understand what's behind that anxiety and how to help the body feel safer again. Here's something funny. If I'll tell you not to press a red button, what is the first thing you want to do? To press the red button, right? Anxiety works the same way. When we try not to think about that anxious thoughts, the more we think about it. So instead, allow those thoughts to be here. Even lean towards them. It might feel uncomfortable at first, and I completely understand that. But the more we're resisting it, the more they will stay. But when we stop resisting those anxious thoughts and simply notice them, they often lose their grip and they lose their intensity and they move past quite quickly. Speaking of thoughts, if a worst case scenario pops into your head, ask yourself, is this happening right now or is this a future scenario? Because if it's in the future, we don't have any control over it. And the more we practice to be here and now, the less anxious we're going to feel. We can use our senses to help us bring us back to this present moment. So let's see how we can do that. So the first one is look. Take a look around you very slowly and notice 5 things you can see. Maybe it's a lamp, a flower, a photo on the wall, maybe the color of your carpet, the sunlight coming through the window. And don't rush, really look at them. Notice the texture, the color, the shape, the size. You can name them out loud or write them on a piece of paper. So when we do this, we become much more aware of our surrounding, which help us to feel much more present. Next, is touch. Allow yourself to touch 4 things. So, touch really helps us to anchor ourselves into this present moment. So, when you touch something, feel it between your fingers. Is it hot? Is it cold? The texture of it. Not if it is heavy or light. And allow yourself to feel how does your body feel when you touch those items. Next is smell. What can you smell? Is it your cooking on the stove? Is it your wet dog? Is it your perfume? Is it the fresh grass outside? I like to close my eyes and focus on the smell. So you can try it too and notice how it feels in your body. Now let's taste. Find things that you can taste, like maybe your chewing gum or your chocolate cookie, or maybe it's your favorite tea. Allow yourself to feel the taste, maybe the texture around your mouth. Is it hot or cold? What flavor does it have? Maybe it's spicy. Notice all the details you can feel around your mouth. That will help you to feel much more present in this moment. And listen, tune in into the sounds around you. I like to close my eyes and listen to the birds, to my dog snoring, to my horse's breath, to the rhythmic sound of the dishwasher. Listening really helps to bring our attention away from our head, away from the stories, and back into the body. What I've mentioned so far is level 1, to hear, to see, to feel. If you wish to go deeper, we can go to level 2. This is where we're noticing what's happening in your body. So when you feel, when you smell, when you taste, notice the sensations in your body. Be curious how it feels and where you feel it. This part will really anchor you back to this present moment. Often we think that anxiety is in our head and it disconnects us from our body. So what we can do is bring our attention to other part of your body, like your toes. Notice your toes, wiggle them in your shoes or feel the ground underneath. Feel the socks or the ground if it's hot or cold. You can even press your legs or your toes into the ground and then release. And practice that a few more times. That's level 1. If you want to go a little bit deeper, notice how your body feels at each release. Here's one of my favorite exercises to help my clients when they feel anxious. So it's called near, far, big, and small. So notice 3 things far away from you and name them out loud, like I see a tall white building, or I see a green tall tree, or I see a big black van. Now notice 3 things that are close to you, like a blue pen, or your desk, or the sunflower in the vase, or maybe a white tablecloth. Then find big things and then find 3 small things. So by saying them out loud, you're really aware of your surrounding, you're hearing yourself, you're naming it, and it really helps you to feel much more present. When an anxious thought pops up into your head, try not to beat yourself up and don't think, oh, there it is again, I'm probably going backwards now. So I want you to see that anxious thought like an ad on YouTube. So you know when you watch YouTube and an ad just starts? Notice that ad and go back to your favorite video. So the same thing with your anxious thought. Notice it, allow it, and go back to your body with the same exercises we just practiced. Something I didn't understand back then, the goal is not to stop the anxiety immediately. The goal is helping the body feel safer. And the best way to do that is through movement. Go for a walk. I like to walk with my horse and go outside with my dog. Just take the time without music, without podcasts. Just enjoy your time together. You can either go slow or go fast, whatever works for you. And what I found very helpful as well is to incorporate some stretches. When we are anxious, we often hold tension without even realizing it. A lot of my clients clench their jaw or feel tight in the upper body, like the neck or the shoulders. So a quick stretch will be rolling your shoulders, stretching your arm to the side, stretching your arm above your head, and then notice the release. If you feel that you're clenching your jaw, a movement like chewing a gum can help, or pretend that you are yawning also helps to release those muscles. And the more we practice noticing, releasing, we create a cycle that really helps the body to release that tension quite quickly. A lady I work with who suffers from anxiety in the morning realized that those stretches really help her body to calm down and start the morning in a completely different way.
Speaking of yawning, did you know this is the fastest way to release tension? When you yawn, it signals to the body that it's safe to relax. Even a fake yawn can create that signal. Try it and see how it feels.
Have you ever seen an antelope being chased by a cheetah? When the antelope escapes, it shakes its body, it shakes that energy. We humans don't do that. We often store that energy, and that can create a lot of anxiety in the body. So when you feel nervous, try to shake your hands, try to shake the arms, try to shake your legs. Let that energy move, let that energy out. It might feel silly, and I completely get that, but once you try it, you'll feel much more calmer. The next one is very simple but very powerful. This is an act of self compassion. Place one hand on your chest, and if you'd like, one hand on your tummy. And you can close your eyes and just feel your breathing. Feel the warmth of your hands. Allow yourself to slow down. Allow yourself to pause. Allow yourself to feel whatever you feel right now without the need to fix or solve anything. We're so used to rush all day and do a million things at once. And we never have the time to just slow down and take care of ourselves. So offer that kindness to yourself. And if you have a bad day or a hard time, acknowledge it. Acknowledge, and you can say, I'm having a hard time right now, and that's completely okay.
The next one wasn't easy for me, and it took quite a bit of self control. And I'm talking about spending less time on social media. I used to compare myself to others, pressure myself to do it right to get the same results. So if you find yourself reading or watching photos or videos of everyone smiling, maybe they're so happy, remember this is just one moment of their life. You often don't see the struggles, you don't see the pain behind it. And when we feel anxious, our worlds become a very narrow, lonely place. It creates an illusion that you are the only one who feels anxious. I fell into the same trap. But this is a false belief. We just can't see it when we are in the situation. So the next time you are scrolling on your phone, notice how energized or emotionally drained you feel afterwards. Do you feel empowered or more anxious? Often what helps is to turn off notification from pages or even friends that makes you feel more anxious. I had to delete quite a few Facebook groups that made me feel anxious inside every time I read a post over there.
While we're on the subject, create a time that you are on your phone and a time when it's off limits, especially before you go to bed. Allow your mind to unload all the posts, all the reels you watched, and find that quiet time. Now, here's another one that surprised me, but once I implemented it, I felt much calmer. Back then, I used to watch and read the news every morning and get the updates during the day. Now, I'm not sure if you noticed, but every article there is dramatic, just to get our attention, right? When we consume so much drama, we start to take it into our nervous system. We start to create emotions around it, beliefs around that. And the body start to believe this is our story. But this is not our story. This is someone else's. So why should we keep all the emotions around that? So in the last 5 years, I've only been reading the headlines on my news app. Haven't watched the footage on TV or on Facebook. Not listening to the news on the radio. By reading just the headlines, I'm aware what's happening in the world without taking the story into my body. Speaking about other people's story, so many people decide to tell you their life story just because you ask how their day's been or you're waiting together in the queue. So when you listen to their story, your body again think that this is part of your story and it develops emotions and thoughts, maybe beliefs about it, opinions. But this is not yours to carry, this is not your story. So after that person has left, remind yourself that this is not your story and you are sending it back to the owner. This is such an important lesson. I remember when I was studying to become a therapist, our teachers always reminded us that after each session, we should remind ourselves that this story does not belong to us and we're giving it back to the owners. The next one is something I see so many women struggle with: the ability to say no to people or to situation. We feel bad about it. We often worry that if we say no, we'll come across as rude or selfish or disrespectful. Sometimes that's because we were raised this way. Maybe we were taught to put other people's needs first to keep the peace or not to upset anyone. But when we ignore our own needs for too long, our body starts to feel lost. We stop listening to our own internal voice, and over time, that can create anxiety. By saying no, we're actually creating boundaries, and boundaries are really important for our body to feel safe. Start noticing how it feels when you say no. It might feel uncomfortable at first. I completely get that. I felt the same way. But the more you practice, the easier it becomes. It's okay to say no. It's okay to have boundaries. You're not selfish. It's an act of self-care. Here's a quick one. When we are stressed, our breathing becomes quite shallow. So try inhale through your nose and exhale slowly through your mouth. So try to make the exhale longer than the inhale. That really helps to calm your nervous system.
A quick question. Do you like to sing jingle bells? So many women tell me their favorite song to sing or hum when they're anxious is jingle bells. So when you hum or sing, it creates this vibration through the body, which helps us to feel calmer. And if you like to go deeper, when you hum or sing, notice where you feel that sensation or that vibration in your body. Maybe it's around your lips, around your chest, around your throat. Notice how it feels and what changes in your body. And I'd love to know, what is your favorite song? Let me know in the comments below. The next one is a major one, and I know from personal experience how hard it can be. And I'm talking about choose who you spend your time with. Some people just drain your energy, some uplift it. So choose the people who lift you up, not bring you down, to help themselves feel better. Spend less time with people who constantly leave you feeling drained or diminished. You may not always be able to disconnect from someone completely. I completely understand that, but you can begin creating clearer boundaries around how much access they have to your time and your energy. Notice that, and that will help you to reduce your anxiety level. One of my favorite strategies to reduce anxiety is go out to nature. You probably notice it when I'm spending time with my dog and with my horse. For you, it might look like going to the beach or going to the park. Maybe you can sit somewhere. Maybe you can walk around. It doesn't really matter. Allow yourself to leave your phone behind and listen to the voices around you. Smell the smells. Look at all the details around you. Allow yourself to slow down. Allow yourself to be part of nature. And notice how your body feels when you're outside.
An anxious brain naturally looks for problems. So to counter that, I'd like you to bring more appreciation to your life. So each day, try to find 3 things you're grateful for. It doesn't matter if it's big things or small things. Try to find 3 different things every day, so without repeating them. I do this every morning and I really feel the difference. So see how it works for you. We often notice the negative things in life. We forget to notice our accomplishment or what we achieved or how far we've come. Take time to notice what is improving. Even the smallest thing counts. If you'd like, you can journal about it so you can go back on the tough days and see how far you've come. Give yourself permission to rest. Rest is not laziness. I was taught that if I rest, I would consider to be lazy. But when we give ourselves that space, the mind can relax, the body can pause. Even a few minutes a day is better than nothing. When we feel anxious, it might be because our nervous system is dysregulated. And all the exercises I'll share with you today will help your body feel calmer and much more regulated. But if you ever wondered, why is my anxiety coming up right now? Nothing has changed. It seems to be coming out of nowhere. Watch my next video.